Welcome back to Coffee, Kids, and Crazy. Seth and Brittany here.
Here we
For
are.
another episode. And we're excited for this one. This is a challenging topic, I think, for a lot of families.
Well, and I think it's funny because I barely had to deal with it I didn't have it at all as an adolescent. A teenager, I kind of had a little bit.
Sort of did.
Yeah. So,
But it's only in the last 12 or 13 years this
I would say my brothers probably had more access than I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 4.5 and 6.5 years older than them. So,
Oh, yeah. And if you don't know what we're talking about technology.
technology.
And how it has changed our lives as families,
Yeah.
as parents,
As people.
as people.
I mean, really.
Yes.
As
How
a
it's-
human race.
How it has altered us as a human race.
But
Before, yeah,
it's the meme game.
meme game.
The memes.
We love technology, and where else are you going to find memes?
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't have technology, we wouldn't have memes, and it would be
This
a
is-
sad world
We
for
would
all
have
of
like
us.
newspaper drawings. That's the
Yeah,
old school
comics.
memes.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. So really this meme Seth found, so I'm going to let him lead in with it.
It is a technology
It is.
meme.
I have a funny story that kind of goes along with this after you share
Okay.
the meme.
So it is a picture of a little child sitting on
Their potty.
their training potty,
Yeah.
potty training potty, and holding a phone, a play phone. So not a real one, but a play phone. And it says in the caption, "When your toddler's imitation skills are too on point." Mm-hmm. Sitting on the toilet, checking the phone.
Checking the phone. There's books next to them, but they're not interested. They
only
want
the
to check out, Instagram, Facebook.
Hopefully that toddler is not on Instagram.
No, I don't think so.
Oh
It is
my
very much a
gosh.
play phone, but
Yeah.
this is where it's going. So I have this funny story where Adeline used to take my phone and she would record a video of herself, like as if she had her own YouTube channel. She was, I don't know, she was probably 6, 7, maybe somewhere in there. And she would say, welcome back to my YouTube. I mean, she just would go
Went
for
it.
And the best part is that she records this video that's probably like 8 minutes long. I mean, it's just her jibber jabbering forever about different things.
She's vlogging.
She's totally vlogging. And she's like, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
Make sure you give me a thumbs up. I mean, I was laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, this
She's
is
got
hilarious. It was so funny. But she's like, and then she starts kind of talking to the camera, like no longer teaching or whatever she was doing. And she says, I'm pooping right now.
Oh,
She
was sitting there pooping,
sitting-
filming the whole time for
She
8 minutes.
was. And I'm like, I thought you were in the bathroom, but she's like, and then she goes on this rant about my mom's the best mom in the whole world, and that you wish you had a mom like mine because she's the best. My mom's the best. That's how she ends it.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll see you later.
Like, she's the best mom in the world. I don't know about you, but she's, to me, she's my mom, not yours.
So I sent it to my family.
Love it.
But this is Addie,
She's a great.
But
That is a
that-
good story. I
it's
like that.
pretty funny. But the best part is she's like, I'm pooping right now. I'm like, yep, this is what's
Been
happening.
Sitting there on the toilet.
It is real.
It
She
is very
she
real.
hates it now when we tell her about it or show her.
Yeah, I'm
She
sure.
was very funny.
Feels embarrassed.
There's a little bit of that.
But our world has changed. Like we said before, technology is everywhere. We need it.
Everywhere. It's a good
and
thing,
It's a good thing.
and it can be a bad thing.
Yep.
And
It's all in the hands of the user.
very much so, and really the culture that's set around it, I think, as well. That's another
Definitely.
big thing.
Our family, you probably know this, but my wife Lauren could absolutely go on with her life and have no phone. If I let her, she'd go no electricity. Like she'd fully go.
She's a bit
without-
more extreme than I am.
Yeah, and so we've had conversations where she's like, I don't even want a smartphone. I want a flip phone.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to call people. I want a landline. Like we had a landline for a while. And the company was like, I don't even know if we have the wires
Anymore,
still
yeah.
attached to your house that we could plug in a landline. But I'm the other direction. I'm like,
Yes.
I want to have the newest phone. I would have 2 phones, maybe 3.
Seth, why?
Because I like them. I like Apple, I like Samsung, and I like the Google phone. So I could go for multiple phones. And I had to tell Lauren at one point, I said, listen, I need you to have a smartphone because I want to FaceTime you when I'm traveling or when I'm gone, and I want to
The
see
kids,
the kids.
yeah.
We actually need it. We're not trying to get rid of it, but we do want to learn how to use it wisely. And I think that's the topic of this conversation, as well as a question that we get a lot. Like, I know I've just dealt with this in my Facebook group about how do you guys navigate this and do this. So you have kids a little older than mine, but let's talk about technology.
Yeah. I mean, I think the technology that I know is really popular amongst the younger crowd, which, I mean, I might even be a little unhip in this because my kids don't have access to all of them. TikTok, really big.
Definitely huge right now.
Really big.
As of now.
Snapchat,
Yep.
really big. There's some other apps that are similar to that, but and then Instagram. I don't know any kids that are on Facebook, but maybe they are.
And Instagram is heading that direction.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
There's different platforms that are building that are more up and coming and different stuff like
Facebook
that.
does have Messenger kids, so they are working to make sure the kids end up on Facebook at some point.
Yeah.
So my daughter has a Messenger kids account, so she could text from my phone, other friends, her
Stuff like
cousins,
that,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. But one of the things I say, because my daughter is 10, she does have her own phone. She only has her own phone because we were going to give her a really old one. Now they're doing stuff by themselves, her and August, and there's times where we just need to get a hold of them. So we were just going to give them a really old one. And then when we moved and bought new phones, they said, oh, by the way, if you buy that one, you can have 3 for free. Also, so, well, you know what? So they have pretty nice ones, and which...
Probably as nice as mine because I'm not very good at this.
Yeah, I think their phones actually might be better than yours. My 10-year-old's phone is better than yours. But it was free, so we went for it. But I want my kids to have technology. But this area, this TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, social media is so scary to me. Yeah. I love it. I enjoy it. I use it all the time. I like it. Honestly, I really, really like it, but it's also scary. And so I don't know if a lot of parents know this because I've worked with kids for a really long time, and I've had a lot of 7 or 8-year-olds in my children's church with their own Instagram accounts. Yeah. Before Snapchat even came about, before there was TikTok, they're coming in with their own Instagram accounts. And technically, the rule the government has set is that you need to be 13 before you can have an account. And I actually just heard recently that somebody had made an account when they were like 11 and then didn't use it till they were 13, became super famous. I don't remember who it was. Became quite famous, I think on TikTok or Instagram or something. Got really well known. Lots of followers. And they found out that they had started their account before they were 13 and they turned the whole thing off. Completely wiped it. And it was not good for the kid. But I said, hey, I showed my kids, I said, I know you want Instagram. I know you like it. I know you want TikTok. You can't have it till you're at least 13. And even then, I want this, just because you turn 13 to me, doesn't mean you're going to get TikTok. It means now we can have a conversation about whether you're able to handle TikTok and whether we have enough trust when it comes to technology to let you have something like that. And so that's sort of the approach that we've taken is, hey, with my younger kids, I'm like, no, we'll have the conversation at 13 about social media. But until then, we can't even have the conversation because the government said no. And if they've said no, they have a lot lower standards than a Christian parent should have probably for their own children. If the government's protecting your kids when it comes to this more than you are, we got a real problem, I think.
Yes. Yeah, and we've had a similar approach. They don't have phones. They have iPads, and they're mostly for school, but they play games on them and different things. And they have, my oldest has a computer, and the 2 younger ones have an iPad. But they all share the same iCloud. And part of that is really to create a accountability for all of them. So, if my younger one is having an inappropriate conversation or anything like that happens, the older one can see it. so everybody can see, the same
Yeah.
dialogue that's happening.
Are those connected to yours as well?
So it's all under my phone or my account and everything, which is, again, it just creates another level of accountability so that I'm
like that.
being able to see what's going on. Because I mean, when I think about TikTok, when I think about Instagram, all those different channels, and I've had this conversation with our oldest, and it's really there are a million people telling you what beauty is, what value is, what's important, what culture you should be thinking about, what funny is,
what's funny, what's not,
what's respect, what's disrespect, what, there's a force coming at you. And
with every swipe,
every single one, even your own friends are, potentially unfiltered or posting something from somewhere else. And I said, I'm like, can you handle all those opinions? Are you mature enough to navigate and find what is our culture and what we practice and what we protect without me next to you?
Yeah.
Because you're at school and having a hard time doing it.
Yeah.
And that's only 30 kids. And, thankfully she said, no, I don't think I can. And I'm like, yeah, you're very wise because there are grown adults who can't do this.
Yes.
There's lots of them.
Yes.
I have a hard time not taking something I see and judging myself or judging that person.
Yeah.
And so this has been our big thing is like, so my kids don't have any of those things, Instagram, TikTok, or any of that, because it's just, I don't see, my kids are very mature, they're very responsible, but I don't know that they're ready for that. So even Delaney, she's wired in a way that I know where the struggle is for her. So we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And thankfully she's wise enough to see, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm still growing here. And I love that about her.
Me too. That's a lot of self-awareness for a 15-year-old kid.
Does she still want it? Does she wish she had it? Yeah, there's definitely moments in there.
Yeah.
But she's trusting us and that it's going to get there. Where, I mean, she's about to turn 16, so she's going to have to have an access to something driving. And, did I have a cell phone when I was driving? I had a flip phone, so there was no, and you didn't even
text.
You had to hit it 12 times to get to
and it took a while for that to catch on.
Yeah.
This is good. I really love the accountability part. I really love that, being able to see what's going on, know what's going on, that they know someone else can see what's going on. We've got that put in. I think this is important to know when it comes to technology. Self-awareness is huge. We're going to talk about this a lot in our podcast, but self-awareness is a big deal. Us as parents, knowing our kids, what they can and can't handle, them realizing that every tap on your screen is either building or breaking trust and damaging it or strengthening it. And the amount of freedom you get on a phone or device is all based around the level of trust and the accountability. What I think one thing that's really important that we need to know as parents is the settings. Yeah. Like I did not even know until you told me today about, like, there's other stuff for this I'll tell you soon, but I didn't know you could just put them all on one account and like everybody can see everything. Like that's it's genius.
I mean, there's different.
We have all the settings put on, but not that.
It's just there's different settings for sure, and I have leaned on people that know what they're doing better than I do because I don't know, and I want to do a good job of keeping that accountable. And I really do love the accountable that they all share together because, I'll say, hey kids, and I don't know who's going to respond. It's either Lincoln or Adeline or Delaney. Yeah. And I can usually tell by the little meme things that or GIF things that they send back who it is. But at the same time, they all see each other's conversation, and what's deleted off of one device isn't deleted off another.
Really?
Yeah. So there's lots of great accountability happening there. So, this is the reality, and it's a beautiful thing because I think it's just it's also teaching how we're protecting our culture as a family, you know, and what you're exposing maybe your brother and sister to, or vice versa.
Yep, I love this. Another app for this is called Custodio. It does cost a little bit of money, but it's basically you can see anything they've done whenever you want, even in the moment. You can basically see their screen all the time and go back and see everything that they've done. So that's
I need to get that to see how it works with having it on
this.
3
Yeah.
devices, how that works.
Yeah,
But
I have it downloaded. I haven't used it yet. My kids have done a really good job. We're really intentional. We're really paying attention with everything, but they have a lot of trust right now. But they know at the same time that we've talked through all this. Like, hey, you know, if you want to keep the freedom, you have to keep doing things that build trust. And they really, really get that. But so you talked about Delaney basically being the one to say no. Like, I don't think I can handle it.
well, we had to get there.
Right. Okay.
So she had a phone, and it was taken away once, and then we gave it back to her because, you know, again, we're trying to build and restore trust in areas and give opportunity for that, because that's our goal, is that
And
we
that's
give
life is
yeah
the relationship.
our goal is not to control and punish, but our goal is to protect and build trust.
And give you opportunities to rebuild if you've broken it.
Right. So she had a phone for a season, then she lost it because she wasn't doing a good job protecting us. And then quite a while later, she got the phone back again. And she didn't handle it well again. And so we ended up with it, and which is why she doesn't have a phone right now. And it's, again, she's been without a phone more than she's ever had a phone.
Yeah.
Because and this is where that conversation came from, was how well do you think you can handle it? And she's like, well, I don't do a very good job of it. And we've done the, you know, you leave it in my room, you know, different things like that. And there were moments where, you know, we didn't pay attention, and like it was in her room when it should have been in our room, because, you know, we're humans.
Happens, yeah.
Yeah. And but I watched this video, and it's I wish I remembered who it was, the two people were, to give you the reference, and I apologize for that. If I find it, I'll communicate. But it was basically this therapist that was being interviewed by some guy that had a podcast, and they were talking about, you know, that same pattern of going after and trying to restore the opportunity of trust, and them learning to manage, you know, that we have to give our children the opportunity to have these moments so that they can grow.
Yeah.
Because the reality is once they turn 18, they're going to have a phone.
And if they haven't learned this or developed it at all,
Right.
it's open game.
It is
Open
way
season.
open.
Yeah.
So this is what, you know, his whole point was, you know, we went through 5 different phones in my daughter's teenage years of she lost it and then got it back.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it wasn't that she wasn't trying or was a bad kid. It was a poor mistake that there was a consequence. But we went to restore, and then we walked through it again.
Yeah.
And so I just loved his perspective on, you know, I'm trying to teach her what value she needs to put into place for when she's on her own completely. And I was like, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
He just put language to it that I really liked.
I really love that. It's so important. One of the things I think that says the same thing is phones are really convenient. It is convenient for a kid to have a phone.
Oh, to find them, all those
to
things.
find them, to know where they're at, to track, like, oh,
Yeah.
she's on the bus or she's coming home, or
Yeah.
all that stuff. Super convenient. I mean, it's amazing. Technology is amazing. But oftentimes the convenience comes at the expense of character development. It sounds like that's what he was going for, is that, and you and me, is this is a great opportunity for our kids to learn character development and to build who they are, what they think, what they believe, how they protect themselves, how they control themselves, setting that up. Like, technology is a great place for this.
And I mean, what I say is you can parent out of convenience and produce entitlement, or you can parent out of character and produce integrity.
Can you explain that? Say, say that whole thing. You can parent out of convenience
and produce entitlement.
and produce entitlement.
Or you can parent out of character and produce integrity.
Okay, go. Keep talking.
I think for me in that statement, because the phone becomes a convenience,
Yep.
which means if I take it away, I'm inconvenienced.
Yes.
And so what I teach to you is that I owe you something. And that I'm, that this is just, this is what we do. It's mine. Give it back. You become this thing that
Yeah.
asks and wants and you expect and I give and I'm at the mercy of whatever your wants and desires are. And because I want convenience, I want obedience, I want compliance.
Yeah.
So that's what I start to
I want
produce.
ease.
So I start to produce something in you that you are a selfish being because I want ease. I want convenience in my life. I don't want struggle. I don't want fights. I don't want disconnect. I'd rather live in a place of convenience and have
False
peace in my home.
Yeah.
But you have a selfish lifestyle that then you begin to just take and it's mine and it's mine and it's mine in every aspect.
Yeah. And this is where it's like the phones have become the babysitter, which is like for us, that's kind of rule number one. We don't use this as a babysitter. Now, when COVID-19 is going on and we had to evacuate
seasons,
for a
like
month
you
on
say.
fire,
Yeah.
like season awareness, like, you know what? We're actually going to use our phone. We're going to watch way more movies than normal.
Totally.
We're going to use our phones more than normal. But we're also going to use them as a way to connect and not isolate. And that's the approach I've tried to take during that COVID-19 phase is like, how can I use this to actually bring connection, not just, you're off in your room by yourself on your phone and we're not talking and we're not. So it's like, how do I understand the season, make this a little more convenient, but not at the expense of the character development. And so one thing that we've done is like, hey, let's find games that we can play against each other, play with each other. So me and my daughter, even now I'm out of town.
And you're playing a game.
Me and her are playing games. Like she plays in her time and I play at my time. And then we send each other messages and we love it. But we're using it to build a connection as well.
And I think of, again, now more than ever, I see families at the table in a restaurant and there's a device that keeps the child quiet. Instead of teaching the child that in a setting we're respectful and, we are aware of the other people that are sitting around us.
Yeah.
So we teach them how to entertain themselves without something that's easy. So like I was always been really big.
Entertain themselves or engage with us.
Yeah, depending on the level of where they're at, that's why, what I am so frustrated at is that element goes away. And so more now than ever, we have this battle to regain self-awareness to our children of how they impact other people because of these devices. So instead of handing out crayons and paper, they hand out a device on the table. It's a device
with the games, and you pay a couple bucks.
You pay
I was just going to go there. I'm like,
And you're just like, so now...
I slide a device I didn't even bring your device. I was trying to avoid this, but there it is, sitting on the table.
I mean, again, it can be a beautiful thing, but what is it costing us?
Yeah.
So that's my whole point is I can parent out of convenience, but what is it producing? Where am I requiring you to learn something else? So my kids always, we went to a restaurant and, they'd be, can I watch a show? And I said, in a little bit, because what I'm trying to teach them is I need you to know how to manage yourself, not at our dinner table.
And you're doing this from a different place once you get it.
Yeah. And so when I give a yes to a show or whatever, it's because I can see that they're able to do this on their own.
Yeah.
And I have such high value for that. Like we were in the store, I don't know where we were.
They
but
appreciate it too. They don't get entitled. They actually have gratitude in their hearts when that comes.
And the thing that I love that's happened with my kids, because we're not so infatuated with the devices and they don't have phones to take over to their friend's house for a sleepover, is my daughter went to a sleepover and their friend there has a phone. And I said, how was it? She goes, it was okay. I said, what do you mean? And she goes, well, she got a phone and basically she's on it the whole time we're together.
Wow.
She's like, she's talking to other friends and she's looking at stuff. And sometimes it's fun. We do it together. But she goes, I just didn't feel very important, which is what I'm talking about, is that place of entitlement. I am here to feed my immediate need.
Yeah.
And I'm losing how to have relationships with people that are in the room with me.
And the very device to help you connect has caused you to disconnect.
And this is all about, again, I'm trying to produce character. So I'm having this dialogue with my daughter that is young. She's 10 at the time. Mm-hmm. And we're talking through this, and I'm like, wow. So what happens if, because she was asking for a phone, and I said, I'm sorry. And she's like, so when this happened, I said, so how you experience this situation, how do you think you would do a good job to make sure that no one else experiences that from you?
From you. Wow.
And she goes, yeah, I guess I wouldn't bring my phone. I said, but that's the cool, fun thing to do. She goes, I don't want to feel unimportant or my friends to feel unimportant.
Yeah. Dang.
Which just means we're producing something different.
Yeah.
It's character and then integrity.
Which we've had friends. Adult friends come to our house and they're literally got their phone under the table as if we can't see it.
Because your head's down here.
And me and Lauren are just looking at each other like, oh, you were in mid-sentence. So the vibration happened. And now you're looking down as if we don't realize. And you're not even probably going to remember the rest of your sentence by the time you come back to us. Like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And this has been an ongoing journey for us. This has been an ongoing journey for me personally. Like
because I
love technology. I love the internet. I love it all. But fun story for me, I had a guy say, hey, I have a prophetic word for you, pastor. And he said, I see you at a beach house for 30 days. I'm like, oh, yeah, come
Amen.
on. This is nice. Go ahead. Give me the word of the Lord. Let me have it. And he said, the top of the door says no Wi-Fi. And I thought, oh. So I go to the hotel room. I was in another city, and I'm just processing with the Lord, and I'm like, Lord, I just can't go to a beach house right now for a month with my family. Like, I can't go on a vacation. He goes, well, what if you read the door and turned your home into a beach house for a month? I'm like, oh. Mm-hmm. So I just decided when I get home, I'm going to do 30 days, zero internet when I'm with my family. I kept my phone so I could take pictures, but I would turn it on airplane mode.
Yeah.
I called it family mode. So I'd get home, turn it on family mode, and like, oh, I want to actually remember this. I'm going to film this little hike we're going on, but I'm not going to post it. I'm not going to be so busy telling our story that I forget to live our story and be present in our story. I also was like, wow, I didn't realize how difficult it is to sift through so many people's opinions all the time. Like, I have no opinions to sift through. It's really easy to have my own opinion, and it's really easy to hear God because I'm not trying to hear God through 500 opinions of other people. Recently, I've even just completely thrown Twitter off my phone. I don't even have it. But this
I never had it.
No.
No.
This has been a journey for me. But for me,
I had TikTok for a month, and I was like, oh my
did?
gosh, I'm over this.
I know for me that 1 month fasting completely radically changed my life. I was so blown away. Then during that fast, I actually built a plan for my own self, because that goes back to our meme. Kids are going to copy us. That kid's sitting on the toilet with the phone. Like, oh, what are you doing? You're replicating what you see, how you see us use technology. And so I think one of the things that I know is important is if we're going to require certain things technologically from our children, we need to make sure we're demonstrating them as well for ourselves. And I know just to be honest, like there's been times where my kids are like, Dad. And Lauren's like, hey, Seth, your kids are talking to you. I'm like, oh, I was on the phone. I didn't even hear him. Like, oh my gosh.
How did I not hear the voice of my children?
How did I not hear that? Like, this is not good. And so I've done a fast before. Actually, Lauren and I talked about it before I flew out here for recording and filming and all this stuff. And we're going to do, as a family, we're doing a fast together. But during my fast, I made a plan. How am I actually going to use this so it builds connection, benefits us? Because we have to use it. We have to have it. We need email. We need text.
Well, I mean, and what we're doing is our heart and passion is how do we help as many people as we can be successful parents? How do we help you build the culture you want to build? And whatever we can give you, well, now social media and the internet and all these things that's how we do it. So we can't do what's in our heart and what we feel like God's called without it. And it's
we need
fine.
you to listen to the podcast to even
we do
have this conversation.
So we're not against it, but it goes back to like, are you parenting out of convenience? Is that your goal? What is it costing you? How are you navigating? What questions are you asking? Are you asking good questions to your kids? Are you aware? Are you engaged? Because like we talked about sex in a couple episodes, and it's the same thing. Like, how engaged are you? Are you the first, or is the internet the one that's introducing something?
Yeah.
You know, like I got an email from my kid's school that said, unfortunately, during one of the slideshows, a child was able to chat into the chat box an inappropriate word, and it was available for everyone to see. I'm like, I asked my son, and I'm like, did you see that? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Which I'm like, of course, which is great. Adeline maybe would have seen it, but Lincoln's pretty like, he's not interested in chatting. But it's just being aware, being engaged is going to change the game of technology so it doesn't become a hurt in your family.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, being able to sacrifice, I don't have the convenience of just calling my kid
whenever I want
because they don't have a phone right now.
Yeah.
Because they needed to learn how to mature and grow and find some areas where they maybe were broken or maybe haven't developed so that they can learn for the next time.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the fast thing that you've done, and we've done different media type fast things as well with the kids, and or where we
for me it helps me just take a step back and look at it all without having it there.
I'm pretty much get home and leave my phone, and I don't.
Yeah, you don't touch it.
I mean the girls I work with are like, oh yeah, she's home now. She's not available.
I have friends, same thing. They'll text me and
oops.
hey, you know what? I talk about being present at home. So if you're going to be mad at me because I didn't text you back right away, I'm like, I'm sorry, that's on you.
Yeah.
Bummer for you.
Totally.
I'm not going to text you back because I'm with my family.
I do want to share just one thing that I encountered a couple summers ago that I loved that goes along with the fasting is we went to Chick-fil-A and they had this little box that if you put your devices in and
Chick-fil-A is genius.
They they're encouraging you to put all your devices in this box and have a family meal that was uninterrupted, and you got like cookies or ice cream or something when you
for free.
And it was just this thing of promoting this thing of like press in, you know, like when we try really hard to protect our dinners, you know, that's something we've all done really well of, you know, when we're at the table, there's not intentionally, we're not trying to bring our phones out or leave it out and not engage in it because we're trying to make this a memorable time. So, I mean, there's little areas where you can make adjustments as the parents because you're leading in this, like you said, which means when you get home, turn it on airplane mode. You know, put it on do not disturb, which means that only the people in your favorites list can contact you if needed.
Learn the settings necessary to
please.
set yourself up for success. And
exactly.
Your kids.
And lead in it. That's the big thing I think about.
Yep. One of the things we had in our notes was to potentially encourage people to take a little fast and reevaluate and reassess and plan and think and really look at this. So I think we're going to do something different at the end of this one. We actually want to encourage you guys and challenge you guys. Whatever the age of your kids are, wherever it is, like I'm going to do this. As soon as I get home tomorrow, we are not going to use our phones for a week, and we're going to take a little bit of time and just assess how we're doing, figure out a plan to navigate it better and better. But we want to encourage you guys to do the same thing. Take a step back for a little bit, or not, and think and plan. Check your settings. Check your convenience level. Why are you doing it? How can you do it in a way that's not just for convenience, but for character development, integrity?
All that.
All of it.
That's good. That's your challenge.
That's your challenge.
That's what we're going to leave you with.
And then when you're back on, we want you to let us know how it went on social media.
Please tell us.
We would love to hear.
We want to hear how good it's been. So, well,
I like it.
bring more questions about this stuff because I think it is a real topic that we want to help you navigate and areas that we've found victory in.
Yeah.
That's our hope for you.
That is our hope.
So go be amazing parents, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
See you in another episode soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.